Hello everyone. Welcome to our mathematics lesson. In today's lesson, we are going to learn how to factor quadratic expressions or equations using algebra tiles. At first, factoring quadratic equations may seem difficult, especially when we only work with numbers, variables, and mathematical symbols. But don't worry, today we will use algebra tiles to make factoring more visual, more concrete, and easier to understand. Instead of simply memorizing factoring rules, we will use algebra tiles to see how a quadratic expression can be represented, arranged, and factored. So, let's get started and discover how algebra tiles can help us understand factoring in a simple and meaningful way. Before we start factoring, let's first take a look at the basic algebra tiles and understand what each one represents. Before we start factoring, we need to understand what algebra tiles are and what each tile represents. Instead of looking only at symbols such as x squared, x, and any numbers, we can use tiles to represent these terms. There are three basic types of algebra tiles that we will use in this lesson. First, we have the x squared tile. This large square represents x squared. Next, we have the x tile. This rectangular tile represents x. Finally, we have the unit tile. This small square represents the number 1. Now, let's put the three basic tiles together. The large square represents x squared, the rectangle represents x, and the small square represents 1. So when we see several tiles together, we can translate them into an algebraic expression. For example, suppose we have one x squared tile, three x tiles, and two unit tiles. The x squared tile represents x squared. The three x tiles represent 3x. And the two unit tiles represent 2. Therefore, the algebraic expression is x squared plus 3x plus 2. Notice that we can read the algebraic expression directly from the tiles. This is the important idea we need to remember. Now that we understand what each tile represents, we are ready to use them for factoring. In the next part, we will learn how to arrange the tiles into a rectangle and use the dimensions of that rectangle to find the factors. Let's see how this works. Let's use our first example. First, we need one x squared tile. Next, we need 5 x tiles because we have 5x. Finally, we need 6 unit tiles because we have the constant term 6. Now, our goal is to arrange all of these tiles into one complete rectangle. We already know that the x squared tile must be placed in one corner. Then we arrange the 5x tiles along the sides of the x squared tile. Finally, we arrange the 6 unit tiles so that there are no gaps. If the tiles form a complete rectangle, we can now read its dimensions. In this example, the rectangle has dimensions x plus 2 and x plus 3. Therefore, the factors are x plus 2 times x plus 3. Now, let's try another example. This time, our quadratic expression has a negative middle term. We want to factor x squared minus 5x plus 6. First, let's identify the tiles we need. We need one positive x squared tile, 5 negative x tiles, and 6 positive unit tiles. Let's begin with the positive x squared tile. Place it in one corner. Next, we have 5 negative x tiles. We need to arrange them along the two sides of the x squared tile. We can place 2 negative x tiles on one side and 3 negative x tiles on the other side. Now, we have 6 positive unit tiles. Let's place them in the remaining space. Now, let's identify the dimensions of our rectangle. On the top side, we have x and 3 negative units. Therefore, the length is x minus 3. On the left side, we have x and 2 negative units. Therefore, the width is x minus 2. The dimensions of the rectangle are x minus 2 and x minus 3. Therefore, the factors are x minus 2 times x minus 3. Now, let's look at our final example. This time, the coefficient of x squared is not 1. We want to factor 2x squared minus 7x plus 6. First, let's identify the tiles that we need. Because we have 2x squared, we need 2 positive x squared tiles. Because we have minus 7x, we need 7 negative x tiles. And because we have plus 6, we need 6 positive unit tiles. Let's begin by placing the two x squared tiles together. Next, we have 7 negative x tiles. We need to arrange these tiles along the sides of the x squared tiles. Now, we have 6 positive unit tiles. Let's place them in the remaining space. Now, all of our tiles form one complete rectangle. Now, let's look at the dimensions of our rectangle. Along one side, we have 2x lengths and 3 negative units. So, this side has a length of 2x minus 3. Along the other side, we have 1x length and 2 negative units. So, this side has a length of x minus 2. The two dimensions are 2x minus 3 and x minus 2. Therefore, the factors are 2x minus 3 times x minus 2. So, factoring does not have to be just a process of guessing and memorizing. With algebra tasks, we can see the mathematics. We can see how the terms fit together, how the rectangle is formed, and how the factors are obtained. And that is how we factor quadratic expressions using algebra tiles. Thank you for watching and see you in our next lesson.